open session. Please be seated.
The Commission, on behalf of the management and its staff, recently would like to express their condolences to the late former Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Romley Kilapet, whom I believe passed on last Thursday, the 16th of March 2023. He has been one of the key witnesses to this Commission of Inquiry. I recall seeing him here on the witness stand, but unfortunately he succumbed to the sickness that's beyond our control, and therefore this morning, as Commissioner, I'd like to take this opportunity to also extend the condolences to his immediate family, and also those who know him personally, his department, his former secretary. He can rest in peace while our work continues on. With that, we return back this morning as I issued the Chamber direction yesterday that we could not proceed yesterday because of the reasons that have been highlighted in the direction. And therefore, we're back here this morning to deal with that. Thank you for your attendance this morning, and Council, if you could take us through this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner. Essentially, three summonses returnable this morning. Commissioner, obviously one of them will be discharged, but perhaps before I proceed with the hearing of those or calling of those summonses, perhaps allow my friends to enter their appearance for their respective clients.
Thank you.
If the Commission pleases, Veritimos is my name, initial MM. I appear with my learned friends Mr. D. Wood and also Mr. Al Ivori for Curtin Brothers Holdings NG Limited and also Ballymore number 39 Limited, if the Commission pleases.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner, just to outline a number of things. Essentially, the matters were returned yesterday and then obviously put over to this morning to confirm what was to occur with respect to the three summonses that are outstanding. There was also the summons that are also issued to Curtin Brothers and Ballymore, Commissioner. They are not listed, but perhaps subject to what my friend is going to say, it's essentially, as I understand it from my conversation with my friend this morning, that there will be, each of those summonses will be discharged upon an undertaking given by myself and Mr. Keeper, to be identified as undertaking number 3. So perhaps, unless there's anything further my friend wishes to make in that regard, Commissioner, if I could just read out the undertaking that's to be given by Council Assisting Commissioner. And it's on that basis that we'll be applying to have the respective summonses discharged, Commissioner. And Commissioner, what it contemplates is a situation as indicated that the submissions will be made by Mr. Veritimos for his clients to be made to the Commission this Friday, the 24th. Then it's for the following week for Council Assisting to respond by way of reply submissions. And then on the 31st, or rather on the 11th of April, Mr. Veritimos will then make any further submissions in reply to Council Assisting submissions. So that is essentially the proposed timetable we wish to raise with the Commission this morning, and what is to occur with the summonses that I've just referred to. So, Commissioner, in terms of the undertaking, I'll just read out the undertaking for the record. It's an undertaking by Council Assisting Gibson Guerrero and Malawi Keeper number 3. Upon the undertaking of Council Assisting that they shall provide written submissions and make oral submissions both on 31 March 2023 in reply to submissions made on behalf of Curtin Brothers NG Limited, Curtin Brothers, and Ballymore number 39 Limited, Ballymore. Counsel for Curtin Brothers and Ballymore will provide written submissions and make oral submissions both on Friday 24 March 2023, noting also that Counsel for Curtin Brothers and Ballymore will make their submissions in reply to the submissions of 31st March 2023 on Tuesday 11 April 2023. So if I could just perhaps hand up a copy of that undertaking, Commissioner, just for your noting, Commissioner. So if the Commission could essentially accept that undertaking given by Council Assisting.
Thank you, Council.
So, Commissioner, essentially it's on that basis that we formally apply to discharge summonses number 19 issued to Gabriel Michael, summonses number 37 issued to Justin McGann, and summons 42 issued to Mr. Romilly Kilapat, noting also that Mr. Kilapat has since passed on. For purpose of Gabriel Michael, I understand, but my friend will perhaps confirm they do not wish to cross-examine Mr. Gabriel Michael, and will just make submissions in terms of the matters that they wish to raise by way of submissions, Commissioner. With that, perhaps I can allow my friend to address the Commission on any matters that I may not have touched on that are relevant to the discharge or otherwise of these summonses this morning, Commissioner.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Councillor Assisting.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Assisting. If I could just clarify a few matters in relation to discharge. In addition to the undertaking, we've had conversations with both Mr. Guerrero and Mr. Kipper. The discharge is also, the objection to the discharge, there's no objection to the discharge, also on the basis that Council Assisting accepts and the Commission accepts that even though there's no cross-examination, it should in no way be taken that his evidence should be accepted by the Commission as correct, and to the contrary, it will be and can be submitted on behalf of my clients that his evidence is unreliable and not credible. I'd like Council Assisting to confirm that that's still the understanding.
Yes, Council Assisting.
Yes, Commissioner. So that's the understanding. It's a matter for Mr. Vertimos's clients to make those submissions, and we'll obviously deal with them in reply. So that is the position, Commissioner.
And the other issue is that we wish to tender certain documents formally before the discharge, and we've written to Council Assisting in relation to that issue by letter dated the 20th of March 2023. So we likely formally have tendered, and perhaps Council Assisting's got a spare copy of it, or Mr. Avori will have a spare copy of the documents that we seek to have tendered, ASH 6 to ASH 16. There's a type schedule and copy of the documents. We'd like to have those tendered. And in addition to those documents, as raised with Council Assisting, we were provided this morning with a copy of a letter to Gabriel Michael of 14th February 2022 with a summons enclosed with it dated the 10th of February, which summons included a schedule. So we'd like to tender that summons, the letter and the summons with the schedule as ASH 17. So perhaps, Mr. Commissioner, if you could have a look at the proposed exhibits and exhibit numbers, and we'd like to formally tender those documents, or have tendered by Council Assisting if he wishes, those documents. So perhaps if Council Assisting could address that. So in addition to the type schedule, we have ASH 17, which is the letter of the 14th February and enclosed summons and schedule. And just for the record, it was probably best if the undertaking just provided to you, Mr Commissioner, is marked as ASH 18 and tendered formally as an exhibit. So if Council consisting could confirm that he's happy with those proposed exhibits, and if a copy could be provided again to Mr Guerrero, that had been provided previously, and you, Mr Commissioner, for your ease of convenience.
Council.
Yes, Commissioner, that is the position. There are documents to be tendered as well. We have no objections to the tendering of those documents, including the undertaking in the manner proposed by my friend, Commissioner. So those documents could be formally tendered. I understand Mr. Evora has copies. If you could just...
So if I could invite you, Mr Commissioner, to have a look at the schedule of documents to be tendered, because that'll make it easier for you. And if I could formally, with respect, request that those particular documents marked ASH 6 to 16 be tendered and given the exhibit numbers referred to.
Yes.
Yes.
Council.
If I could just have that handed up to the Commissioner, please, Associate.
Thank you.
Does the Commission have the schedule? So that's basically the proposed exhibit numbers and the documents, as my friend indicated, to be tendered this morning. We have no objections to that, Commissioner. It's numbered, identified as ASH-6 through to ASH-16 inclusive. The only document there that's not identified is ASH-16, which is the copy of the summons number 19 letter, cover letter, together with the summons signed by yourself, dated the 10th of February 2023, and also Schedule 1 to that summons. Yeah. If I could just also tender that formally as well, Commissioner, that should be marked ASH-16.
17, I think.
Sorry, 17, Commissioner, as indicated by my friend.
And then, sorry, just for completeness, ASH 18 will be the undertaking number 3 that was provided by Mr Guerrero to you this morning. So there will be 6 to 18 should be marked.
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Yes, Council.
So just confirming that they've been tendered, Mr. Reutemos, and marked accordingly?
Yes.
Yes, the documents we'll take it, Mr Commissioner, then the documents marked ASH 6 to 16 on the type schedule are now admitted into evidence, and given the exhibit numbers as recorded, plus the additional ASH 17 and ASH 18, can that be taken to be done, Mr Commissioner?
Sorry, can you come again?
I'm just seeking clarification that you, Mr Commissioner, are now agreeing to have marked as exhibits ASH 6 to 16 as per the schedule, together with ASH 17 and ASH 18 as Mr Guerrero indicated.
Okay, Council.
Yes, Commissioner. So he's just asking for you to formally confirm that. So you
okay,
simply say yes.
I confirm that.
Yes, thank you, Mr Commissioner.
Thank you.
So there's just one other small issue. So we had a useful conversation with both council assisting this morning. As we understand it, they're having some meeting this afternoon between themselves to consider whether they may have missed tendering any other documents, although they don't intend currently to tender any other documents. But that'll be formalised by this afternoon. But Counsel Sisting has confirmed that no other documents will have any potential adverse effect if they are to be tendered on my clients. If Counsel Sisting could confirm that's the position.
Yes, Commissioner, that's another matter that was discussed this morning, and I confirm that position.
That's a confirmation.
Yeah, thank you. So as Counsel Sisting correctly said, it's currently anticipated there'll be no further evidence that will be tendered by anyone, but that will certainly be confirmed by this afternoon by Mr Guerrero. Mr Guerrero is providing us some further documents that we've asked for and some transcripts, etc., that will be provided this afternoon. So all going according to plan, Mr Commissioner, you should have submissions from us on Friday, which is in accordance with the roadmap.
Yes.
Mr Guerrero, Mr Maliva to make submissions next Friday, and because of the Easter period, we'll make submissions on the Tuesday after the Easter Monday in reply. And that then allows still some time in terms of preparing the report, which is due at the end of April.
That is correct. Counsel?
Yes, Commissioner, that's as per the undertaking given.
We stick to the roadmap that earlier on been directed, and all those needed document that needs to be sorted out, I believe, are in order for us to progress forward in that, so that there is no delay in the way we progress forward.
Thank you, Mr Commissioner. So on that understanding and the assurances and undertakings, then we don't object to the 5 summonses that Mr Guerrero indicated being discharged today, which will mean the Commission has reached a milestone, significant milestone, in that all the summonses will now be discharged and the evidence should be concluded, which is, as I said, a very significant milestone. So Mr Guerrero can formally seek the discharge of those summonses.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. So on that basis, Commissioner, we apply to have all the summonses discharged, the 3 listed this morning, that's summons 19, 37 and 42, and also the summonses issued to Curtin Brothers and Ballymore. And it's a matter for us to then proceed with the final submissions for purpose of having the report completed and submitted to the appointing authority. So, Commissioner, if you could make formal, just mention formal directions discharging those summonses that I've just outlined.
Before I discharge the summon the both parties, I listened carefully to what Counsel Veritimos has mentioned, that given the fact that there is no cross-examination that is to take place, it would indicate that what is submitted is an evidence. But you mentioned just after that it could be unrealistic in the way some of those things are presented. So my question is, if that is the issue, then how do you contest the apparent contradiction, if any, in this situation, in light of the evidences that is submitted before I discharge the summons? This question must always come at the back of the mind if there is no cross-examination that is to take place.
Mr Commissioner, as you know, Mr Kitapat's evidence was contradictory to Mr Michael's evidence, and Mr Kitapat unfortunately has passed away. So there was a conflict between their evidence. Also we say, and Mr Commissioner, you've correctly said, that the evidence needs to be properly evaluated. That requires a critical analysis of the evidence. And when one analyses Mr. Michael's evidence itself, he has some major inconsistencies in his own evidence, and his evidence itself is unreliable based on his own evidence. It's also inconsistent with other evidence, and it's inherently unreliable, much of his evidence. So even though there's no cross-examination, there's no reason why the Commission, and in fact the Commission is required and compelled to properly evaluate his evidence and determine the credibility of his evidence based not just on his evidence but other evidence. And we will demonstrate, when critically evaluated, that his evidence is inherently unreliable, and we give many examples of this. So one can't take a superficial examination of his evidence and simply accept what he might say in one paragraph, when in fact it's inconsistent with other evidence that he's given. So the fact that someone is not cross-examined doesn't mean that one accepts that person's evidence. Have I sufficiently answered that question, Mr. Commissioner?
Thank you, Council. Just an observation on that part. Because once the final submissions are made, it will be based on the consistency of the evidences and the information that is submitted. And there should not be any contradicting statement made. That's why evaluation of information, examination, and the clarity of information must be sound. That's mean
yes,
we have addressed it in a in a very perfect way of addressing the situation, and therefore the both parties have come in agreement with that.
The point which I wish to clarify is that someone can give evidence, but it doesn't mean to say that it's reliable evidence, of course. And there have been thousands of pages of documents produced to this Commission, and one needs to forensically examine the documentation and the evidence to determine and evaluate the position and reliability of such evidence. And it'll become clear to you, Mr. Commissioner, when you see our submissions, that there are so many inconsistencies in Mr. Michael's evidence. He himself is inconsistent in terms of what he said and what he's done, and there are other documents which demonstrate the unreliability of his evidence.
Thank you, Council. Council Assistant, you don't have anything to say before I discharge the summons?
No, Commissioner. As I indicated earlier, the questions you have posed are valid questions.
Yes.
Those are matters that my friend has quite briefly addressed in his reply, and we'll await to receive his submission so we can then deal with the matters that you have raised and that he has now, in short, replied to.
Thank you.
Without further ado, Commissioner, we simply ask you to confirm that all those summonses, including the summonses issued to Curtin Brothers and Bellimo, are formally discharged as of today, so that matters can proceed to hearing on Friday as per the undertaking given by Council Assisting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Based on the undertaking by Council Assistant Gibson Giroro and Maleva Kipa, upon the undertaking, they shall provide written submissions and make oral submission both on 31st March 2023 and reply to submissions made on behalf of Curtin Brothers Holdings NG Limited, Curtin Brothers, submission made on behalf of Curtin Brothers and Ballymore number 39. Counsel for Curtin Brothers and Ballymore will provide written submissions and make oral submission both on Friday, 24th March 2023. Noting also that Counsel for Curtin Brothers and Ballymore will make the submissions in reply to submissions of 31st March 2023 on Tuesday, 11 April 2023. With that, the summons on the agenda items number 1 to 3, summons number 19, 37, and 14. I now give directions that this summons now be discharged forthwith as of today. Thank you, Council.
And sorry, Commissioner, I don't have the numbers for Curtin Brothers and Barrymore, but if you could also note that those 2 summonses are also discharged, so there are no further summonses.
Thank you, Council. The summonses also issued to Curtin Brothers and Barrymore number 39 is now also discharged.
Mr. Commissioner, there's summonses 3 and 4. Number 3 and 4.
Yes, that is summons number 3 and 4. Thank you, Council, for the correction.
Commission pleases. No further matters, Commissioner.
Thank you. With that, we have no other matters to deal with this morning until we return back on Friday, which is the 23rd, is it?
24th, Commissioner.
24th for the submissions.
Yes, Commissioner.
That's right. Until we return back on Friday at 10 a.m., Associate, you can now adjourn the hearing to 10 a.m. on Friday. Thank you.